Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering you only have 24 hours left to live. Not because you're sick, but because time itself has become money, and you're broke. Welcome to a world where the rich can live forever while the poor die fighting for every single second. The story begins in the year 2169, where people have been genetically engineered to stop aging at 25 years old. The moment someone hits their 25th birthday, a glowing timer appears on their arm showing exactly 1 year remaining. This timer counts down every single second, and when it reaches zero, that person dies instantly. The only way to keep living is earning more time, because in this world, time has replaced money as currency. We meet Will Salas, who lives in the ghetto time zone with his mother Rachel. Both look the same age because aging stopped at 25. Rachel is actually 50 years old but appears as young as her son. When Will checks his timer, he realizes he only has 23 hours remaining, which means he must work today or die tomorrow. This is the daily reality for everyone in the ghetto, where people literally live paycheck to paycheck, but instead of money they receive hours and days. Today marks Rachel's 50th birthday, and Will has worked overtime to buy his mother a bottle of champagne to celebrate. Rachel jokes with Will, saying she wants to see her grandchildren soon. Will responds sarcastically that nobody has time for dating when they're constantly fighting to survive. Rachel must leave immediately to pay bills, which will consume almost 3 full days of her time. Before leaving, Rachel touches Will's arm and transfers 30 minutes of her own time into his body so he can afford breakfast. Will encounters a little girl on the street who hands him an empty time capsule begging for help. Will transfers 5 minutes into her capsule even though he can barely afford it. At the factory where he works, the price of coffee has doubled overnight from 2 minutes to 4 minutes. This is common practice in the ghetto, where prices increase at any moment to keep poor people constantly dying. After work, Will goes to a bar with his best friend Burrell, who points at a stranger buying drinks for everyone. When Will looks at this man's timer, it shows 116 years, an astronomical amount that could only belong to someone from New Greenwich, the wealthy time zone. Will warns him that staying in the ghetto is dangerous because there are gangs called the Minutemen who hunt rich people to steal their time. The rich man named Henry ignores Will's warning. Suddenly, the bar doors burst open and Fortis walks in, the most feared gangster leading the Minutemen. Everyone runs except Will, who hides to observe. Fortis challenges Henry to a time fight, which drains the loser's time until one person dies. Henry accepts but requests time to sober up in the bathroom. Will follows and helps Henry escape through a back window. They reach an abandoned factory where Henry reveals he is actually 105 years old and came to the ghetto hoping someone would kill him because he has grown tired of living. Will cannot understand why anyone with over a century would want to die. Henry explains that inflation is deliberately raised in the ghetto to keep poor people dying because their remaining time gets absorbed by the system benefiting the rich. He says in New Greenwich people have thousands of years, while in the ghetto people work desperately just to survive one more day. Henry asks Will what he would do with 116 years. Will says first he would stop constantly checking his timer and would buy his mother a beautiful house in New Greenwich. Both men sleep in the factory, and when morning arrives, Henry wakes up first and transfers every single second of his 116 years into Will's body, keeping only 5 minutes for himself. Henry then walks to a nearby bridge and sits on the edge waiting for his final moments. Will wakes up and discovers his timer shows 116 years. He sees a message on the window reading, "Don't waste my time." Will rushes to the bridge but arrives too late as Henry dies falling into the river. Will realizes he must leave immediately because authorities will assume he murdered Henry for his time. He visits Burrell and transfers 10 years as a gift, then rushes to meet his mother at the bus stop. Meanwhile, Rachel has finished paying bills and boards a bus but discovers the fare has doubled overnight from 1 hour to 2 hours. Rachel panics because she only has 1.5 hours remaining. The bus driver refuses to let her ride and tells her she must walk. Rachel knows the next stop is a 2-hour walk away, meaning she will die before reaching it, but begins running. Rachel desperately begs strangers for help, but everyone ignores her. Will waits at the bus stop with flowers ready to celebrate his mother's birthday. When the bus arrives, Rachel is not among the passengers. His heart sinks and he immediately starts running. Rachel's timer shows only 10 seconds remaining as she spots Will in the distance. They reach each other and their hands touch, but it is too late. Rachel's timer hits zero and she dies in Will's arms right there in the street. Authorities discover Henry's body and timekeeper Leon, who serves as the chief investigator, arrives at the scene. Timekeepers are this world's version of police officers. Leon examines the area and camera footage clearly captures Will's face. Leon immediately identifies Will as the prime suspect. Will attends his mother's burial with a broken heart, knowing the system created by rich people is responsible for her death. He makes a vow to make them pay. With 116 years on his timer, Will crosses the border into New Greenwich, where he plans to take revenge. Upon arriving, Will's eyes widen as he witnesses the extravagant lifestyle of the rich. He checks into a luxury hotel and notices a beautiful young woman staring at him. This woman is Sylvia Weiss, daughter of Philip Weiss, who owns the largest time-lending bank. Leon discovers Will recently crossed into New Greenwich and immediately heads there to arrest him. That evening, Will visits the casino where wealthy people gamble with years and decades. He joins a poker table where he meets Philip Weiss and his daughter Sylvia. Will shocks everyone by betting his entire remaining time on a single hand and wins, earning 1,100 years. Sylvia is amazed and invites Will to her father's party. Will buys a sports car and drives to Philip's mansion for the party. During the event, Will and Sylvia dance together, and she confesses that despite having unlimited time, her life feels empty. Will suggests they do something foolish and takes her to the beach, where they go swimming in the ocean under the moonlight. Sylvia feels truly alive for the first time in years. However, their moment is interrupted when timekeeper Leon bursts bursts into the party and arrests Will. Leon interrogates Will and confiscates most of his time, leaving him with only 2 hours. Will attacks the timekeepers and grabs Sylvia as a hostage, forcing everyone to let them escape. Leon chases Will's car through the streets but crashes, giving Will the opportunity to escape. As they drive toward the ghetto, Will asks Sylvia to share time, but she refuses, believing he is a murderer. At the bridge connecting time zones, Will gets distracted and fails to notice a spike strip placed by Fortis and his gang. The car crashes, leaving both unconscious. Fortis steals Sylvia's time, draining her timer down to only 30 minutes. When they wake up, Sylvia panics, finally understanding what it feels like to face imminent death. Will shares his time, so they both have equal amounts, and takes her into the ghetto. Will brings Sylvia to Borel's house, but learns Borel drank away all 10 years and died. Will is devastated but notices Sylvia's diamond earrings. They sell the jewelry for 2 days of time. Will makes Sylvia call her father to negotiate a ransom, demanding 1,000 years be distributed to poor people. Leon warns Will he is becoming like his father, who died doing something dangerous. Philip hesitates to agree because he refuses to give time to poor people even to save his daughter. Will brings Sylvia to his apartment, where they spend the night talking. Will explains his father was an expert at time fighting who probably died for giving away time to help poor people. The next morning they watch the time bank, hoping to see Philip distribute the ransom, but nothing happens. Sylvia is crushed, realizing her father values wealth more than his daughter's life. She decides to fight against the system alongside Will, and they share a passionate kiss. Sylvia calls her father while Will stands guard nearby. Leon sneaks up behind Will, but Sylvia spots him and shoots Leon in the arm. Will gives Leon some time to ensure he survives, and they escape in his car. Will and Sylvia begin robbing rich people by pretending to be timekeepers. They steal time capsules and jewelry, becoming wanted criminals. Philip lies to investors, claiming everything is under control. Sylvia devises a plan to steal large quantities of time to distribute among the poor. They hijack an armored truck and rob a bank vault, taking as many capsules as possible, leaving the rest for ghetto residents. Will delivers time capsules throughout the ghetto. Leon realizes flooding the ghetto with time could destroy the entire economic system, but Will continues robbing banks. They become folk heroes to the poor and public enemies to the rich. A week later, Leon tracks them to their apartment. They escape by jumping through windows and across rooftops. Leon chases them, firing shots, but they manage to escape on a passing bus. Will and Sylvia check into a hotel, reserving every room for privacy. Suddenly, Fortis and his gang break in, holding them at gunpoint. Fortis challenges Will to a time fight. Will accepts, using his father's technique by letting Fortis think he is winning until the last moment. Will turns the tables and begins draining Fortis's time, then shoots all the gang members before Fortis dies. They realize small-scale robberies are not making any difference because the rich simply raise prices to compensate. They would need to steal 1,000,000 years to truly crash the system. Sylvia knows exactly where such an amount is stored. The next day, Sylvia appears at Philip's office, claiming she wants to surrender, allowing Will to sneak up and take Philip hostage. Will forces Philip to open his private safe containing 1,000,000 years. Will confirms destroying the system is exactly his goal. They escape after locking Philip in his office. Timekeepers set up a blockade at the bridge, but will drive straight through, reaching the ghetto. Leon crashes into their car and Will immediately hands the 1,000,000-year capsule to the little girl Maya, telling her to take it to the timeline building. Leon prepares to arrest them, but Will points out they only have minutes remaining anyway. This makes Leon check his own timer, and he realizes he forgot to collect his pay and only has 5 seconds left. Leon dies right there in the street. Will and Sylvia embrace, believing they are about to die with only 1 minute remaining. Will suddenly remembers timekeeper vehicles carry emergency time supplies. He transfers time into his body before running back toward Sylvia with seconds to spare. Sylvia runs toward Will and collapses into his arms. Will grabs her hand at the last second, transferring time and saving her life. The 1,000,000 years is distributed throughout the ghetto, making everyone immortal overnight. People pour into the streets, celebrating their newfound freedom. Factories shut down as workers refuse to slave away anymore. Ghetto residents flood into New Greenwich. The entire economic system collapses exactly as Will intended. Timekeeper offices close down and news broadcasts show chaos spreading across all time zones as the old world crumbles. Will and Sylvia continue robbing the largest time banks to ensure the old system can never return. They have become legends among the poor and nightmares to the rich. Philip sits in his office admitting defeat, telling employees the world has changed forever. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel and like the video.